Hi guys, Andrew Davidson, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a role-playing game that's quite unique. The name of the game is called Fiasco. It comes in this book right here. It is designed by Jason Morningstar and published by Bully Pulpit Games. Now, Fiasco is, like I said, a role-playing game that has no DM or GM. So for those of you that aren't necessarily into role-playing games, a DM or GM stands for Game Master or Dungeon Master. Now, a Dungeon Master for D&D people is someone that tells the story, someone that sets the scene, someone that will tell the characters where they are, what they see, where they go. If they run into an NPC, which is a non-playable character, such as the bartender at the local tavern, they will act out the bartender or tell them what the bartender says. If they run into someone at a local inn, they will act that person out. So they are this person controlling the story. Now, what makes Fiasco unique is that Fiasco does not have a DM or GM. Everyone that sits down at the table is allowed to play as a character. So Fiasco, what you're going to need to play, and kind of how it works, is you're going to need this book, basically, which tells you how to play and comes with some of the play sets, which I'll talk about in a bit. And you're also going to need quite a bit of dice. Now, it doesn't really matter which colors you use, but you're going to need 4 dice per player. And I believe the game plays up to 5. So a possibility of 20 dice. And so I've ordered some D6s here just to use for my Fiasco games. And it doesn't matter what colors you get, just as long as you have 2 different colors. White and black are always a great choice because in this game, white represents, good choices and black represents bad things and bad choices. So you'll need a thing of dice, you'll need the book, and you will also need some little cue cards or things to write on so that people can write down their names and they can write down some of their relationships. So in Fiasco basically says that it plays kind of like a Coen Brothers movie, and that's exactly what it reads here. It's always some sort of someone finds some lost money or some kind of a heist or things go awry or there's some love triangle or things like that. So Fiasco is a game that's got a lot of conflict in it. And so how you play is you'll get this book and you kind of read through it a little bit, and as you play you will be rolling some dice, like I said, and you will be creating relationships between the people sitting on your left and the person sitting on your right. And so let me give you an example, and I'm sure I will put up some pictures. Hopefully y'all will be able to see. Alright, come on now. So for example, you will start off with creating some relationships with people. You will grab some dice. So if I grab the number 4 die, I can do a romance with, let's say, Jenny on my left. So Jenny and I have a romantic establishment with our relationship, and then she can use one of the dice rolled depending on the number, and she could say 3, lifelong crush or object of crush. That is our relationship in this scenario that we're about to play out, and this is all in the setup. And you go through relationships, locations, needs, which is basically what does your character need, and you will have these relationships again on both sides of you. And all of this is just through the setup. It's very easy. As you can tell, this is just not a huge, for those of you that have seen D&D books, this is a very simple book. You'll have objects, locations, and then you just kind of play. And on your turn, you basically do one of 2 things. You either act as a director and you pick 2 other people at the table and you set the scene for them to act out. This is a very acting, role-playing heavy game. Would be a great game for people that like to kind of put on characters or do accents, actors, actresses, and they play out a scene. And depending on how the scene plays, that's where the dice come in. I won't go too much into the mechanics because this is not really how to play. It's more of just giving you a sense of this game exists, this is kind of what it's like. And you will play through the rounds going throughout the table, either acting as the director, or saying someone set up a scene for me. And all of that determines whether if you do A or B determines on the dice. And at some point, halfway through the game, you will hit what's called the tilt. And the tilt in the game is basically the big thing that goes awry in all of these Coen brother movies. Someone dies, or someone shows up unexpectedly that you thought was killed. An ex-lover does something completely, and it basically just tilts the whole game and throws everything kind of in the wash cycle. Then you go into an Act 2, where the Act 2 plays a little bit differently, but kind of the same. And as you're developing these relationships, trying to get what your character needs from the need, page between the two people, you have all this conflict because I really need you to go kill my ex-wife. I'm trying to talk this person into killing my ex-wife. Whereas the person that I'm trying to talk into, their need is trying to stay under the radar and not be noticed by a particular police officer or detective played by another person across on the other side of the table. And so it basically just inherently causes conflict between all of the players by the way that it's set up. This book here comes with, I believe, 4 play sets, which is basically a play set is like a world that you kind of play in. So here is Tales from Suburbia, which seems kind of like small town love gone awry. There's a gun. There's a Western one called Boomtown. So it's like a Western, kind of spit in a platoon and things like that. And then there's one that I think that's kind of cool. This one right here, which is called In a Nice Southern Town. And so it's kind of like, again, small towns, southern town with like hidden secrets. The mayor is secretly running drugs and this and that. It's a very grimy game. You play a lot of characters that are not great characters. The goal is just to have fun, and at the end of the game, there's an aftermath in which you will figure out what happens to your characters, and your characters can end up in jail, they can end up dead, they can end up being sent, like, kidnapped and sent out of town. A lot of the ways that movies like A Blood Simple or Fargo or A Simple Plan, like movies like that kind of end. They all kind of end with this punitive sort of idea. And so Fiasco is a pretty cool game. If you like role-playing games, and if you're like me that does not want to sit and play D&D for 1,800,000 hours just to play through 5 minutes of a skirmish, this game plays in about 2 hours, and they're standalone, meaning like you just sit down, you play for 2 hours, you have fun, you have an aftermath, you have a conclusion, and then you're done. There are many more play sets. You can go on Amazon and buy more books, anthology books of play sets. There's also play sets that you can make yourself, which I plan on doing. I plan on making a Bismarck sort of wintertime kind of trapped in a snowstorm thing. I don't know. I haven't really fleshed it out. But you can make your own play sets. So all you need to play Fiasco is the book on Amazon. It costs about $20. Quite a bit of D6 dice of at least 2 different colors. Doesn't really matter what color you use as long as you have 2 different colors. And then just head on down to your Office Depot and pick up some cue cards and things so that people can write down the names of their characters, the relationships, the objects, some of the little informations about their characters and things like that. It's a one-time, standalone, sit-down, play, done. It's perfect for me. It might be perfect for you. And so that's why I'm taking a look at Fiasco today. If you haven't heard of it and you like role-playing games, check it out. So I'm Andrew Davidson for As Per My Ability, and as always, I will see you all at the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.